Hi, Pastor Mark here. Wednesday uh, Bible study. Quick one today. Probably won't be very long, but I hope it's really thought provoking. I hope that it causes each person that sees or hears this quick Bible study today to do some introspection, to look at ourselves and see what's really going on. In Luke chapter 6, the 45th verse, reading from my Bible app here today, Jesus is speaking, and he says here that a good man, out of the good treasure of his heart, I'm reading, I think I just said that from the New King James. From the good treasure of his heart brings forth good, and an evil man, out of the evil treasure of his heart, brings forth evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaks. What's in the heart is going to come out of the mouth. Now that, in and of itself, pretty interesting. I'll just say this right away. There is a lot here. Matthew recounts this saying as well, and he has a little different take on it. Two people witnessing the same conversation are going to say a little bit different each time, but Matthew elaborates a little more and adds a few more details. If you want to read that, that's in Matthew chapter 12. What I want to mention here, and use an illustration, I'm going to use a little cup. This little old cup. Nothing special about the cup, but if I have this cup and it's full of, water, grape juice, tea, iced tea, sweet, because that's the way to have it, milk, you get the point. Whatever is in the cup. And if I am walking and maybe I lose my balance a little bit, kind of shake, and something spills out, what's going to spill out? Whatever's in the cup. Whatever is in the cup is going to spill out. So, our mouth, when life happens, things come along that shake us up a little bit, and it will. That's just going to happen. What shakes us is different from person to person generally, typically. But what comes out? That's the key. That's something to think about. Looking at this passage of Scripture, I'm going to say it this way: whatever's inside you is what's going to come out. Now, you might be able to go along in life and put on a great persona and a good facade, and everybody thinks everything's amazing. But inside in your heart, there's turmoil and discontent. Well, when life shakes you, that's what's going to show up. Now, I'm not chastising anyone. I want us to think about what's really in my heart, what's really in my spirit. Am I so confident and filled with the Lord that only good things, joy and peace and love and gratefulness and thankfulness is going to come out of my mouth? Or am I going to be bitter and have harsh words and so forth and so on? That's what's going to happen. When things happen, when life shakes you up, from the abundance of your heart, it's going to come out in your mouth, in your attitudes, the things you do, the things we do. So I want to be so close to the Lord that only good things come out. Blessing, not cursing. Peace, not turmoil. I'm reminded of a situation in my life, and I don't always like using myself as an example because it's me. But this is appropriate. So back in 2010, I was informed that my job was going away. I was going to be laid off. I won't go into all the details here because I don't want to take a lot of time on that. But that was the situation, and I had, I think, 3.5 months or so, something like that. Let's see, I was informed in March, so April, May, about 3.5 months before my last day. It was not great. And I was confident. All right, well, the Lord's got this. He's going to line up a new position for me. And I started looking for work. Put my resume on. In fact, I got with a professional firm that tweaked and looked at my resume and gave me some pointers and helped me update it so that I would be, putting my best foot forward, so to speak. Well, the day came, last day of work. Still didn't have another job lined up. I wasn't that worried about it. Several months went by, still didn't have anything. We're knocking on the 6-month door, and I still didn't have any prospects. I'd had some interviews. I actually had a company offer me a position, but it was 1/3 what I had been making before. I had, house payment and 3 kids and everything else that goes with life, and there's no way I could afford to take a 60% pay cut, 66% pay cut. So I declined, but I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't stressed about it. My wife wasn't worried or stressed. And at the time, I was teaching a class at the church we went to in Fort Worth, Texas. I taught the seniors. So these were people that were at least two decades or more older than I was at the time. And they were very concerned about me. They were lifting me up in prayer to the Lord that I would find a great job. The Lord would lead me to it. And I really appreciated it, and I loved every one of them. I think they knew that. And one Sunday morning, one of the men, as he was coming into the class before it began, I shook his hand and he said, "I've been praying for you that the Lord would open that door for that new job." And I thanked him. And he asked me how we were doing because it had been about 6 months at that point. And at the time, my wife was not working. I had a pretty good job. She didn't have to work outside the home, and so I was trying to keep it that way. And he asked how in the world am I holding up? And I said, I can't really explain it, but I'm just not worried. I'm sleeping well at night. I'm not afraid. We've got money in the bank. We're paying our bills. Everything's okay. I'm not worried. I just trust that the Lord has it under control. And my wife too. We're just not stressing about it. And he kind of straightened up and he said, "Well, that's just the Lord in your life. It's your faith. He's got everything under control." And at that moment, when I heard him speak, I thought, yeah, that's the obvious thing. I don't know why I said, I don't know why I'm not feeling stressed. I did know why, because the Lord is the Lord of my life, and I knew that He was in control. But in light of this message, what was coming out of of my mouth, what was coming out of my wife's mouth at that time in our lives. Joy, gratefulness, blessing. So I was so glad looking back on that time of my life that I was secure in the Lord, because there are people that commit suicide over things like that. There are people whose marriages fall completely apart and their families just get scattered. And that didn't happen. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. There is so much in this passage that we just don't have time to cover. And I didn't tell you that example about me so that you would say, oh, look at that guy, he's in good with God. No, please don't misunderstand that. What is in your cup? That's what's going to come out. Is it blessing or is it cursing? Is it stress and anguish, or is it blessing and contentment and kindness and love and confidence? What's coming out of your cup? Well, I hope this was a blessing to you. I hope this makes sense. And because there's no way to cover everything in this passage, and when you look at a couple of the verses on either side, you get a little more of the context, but it's still on the focus of what's in the heart is going to come out. So I want you, my hope for you and for me is that we get so close to the Lord and read His Word and ingest it, that's the only thing that comes out. When trouble comes, when life shakes us, when stressful times come, that what comes out is love and peace and contentment and confidence in the Lord and gratefulness and thankfulness. God bless you. Hope to see you this Sunday morning, 10:30 at the True by Hilton. First floor, main conference room. It's right behind the scooters at 72nd and Haskell here in Omaha. God bless you. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.